Hey, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Socially Awesome podcast. I'm your host, Alyece Smith, and today we're diving into a game changing topic for all my entrepreneurs out there growing online, growing on social media, how to automate your sales process. So, if you're tired of spending endless hours in the DMs, constantly following up, juggling a million tasks just to close a sale, this episode is for you. So, we're going to talk about how you can save time, reduce stress, and most importantly, boost your revenue with just a few simple automation strategies. So, by the end of this episode, you're going to have a clear plan on how to get more done with less effort and start seeing those sales roll in even while you're sleeping sometimes. So, let's dive in. First things first, I want to talk about why automation is so powerful in your business. When you're running a business, it's time that's your most valuable asset. And the more tasks you can automate, the more time you have to focus on growth and strategy rather than getting bogged down in those repetitive, mundane tasks. Okay. So, automation isn't just about saving time, it's also about creating a consistent, scalable system that works for you 24/7. So, whether it's DM automation, email sequences, content scheduling, you can automate these processes to ensure that nothing falls through the cracks. We're all human, shit happens, right? And we want to make sure that every lead is nurtured effectively. So let's kick things off with DM automation because this is something that, to be honest, I did not put in my business until about 6 months ago. Mainly because I was really focused the last year or so on growing on my personal Facebook profile, my Facebook community, which if you're not already in there, check the show notes and join Socially Awesome Entrepreneurs. I do weekly tips, tricks, and trainings to help you with your business online in there, and TikTok. And unfortunately, TikTok doesn't allow DM automation. But about, I guess, 6 months ago now, I decided to really try to grow on Instagram. I've been avoiding it forever. It's not my favorite platform. I'm not really an aesthetically pleasing person. So I've been avoiding it. But here's the thing you need to know you can automate most of your conversations on these platforms. Okay. So tools like Mini Chat. I also use a tool called My Genius Leads. They can be integrated with your social media accounts to handle those initial DMs, to qualify leads, or even give them, links to buy, make a purchase, book a call, whatever it is. So by setting up automated responses to either those frequently asked questions or those call to actions, you not only are ensuring that your leads get the information they need quickly, because if they had to wait on me, it may be tomorrow, right? Without you having to lift a finger, but you also can improve the volume, right? Because if you know that mini chat's going to pick up all your DMs on IG, you can start using call to actions on everything. There was a time in my business where I feared too many DMs because I couldn't handle it. I couldn't keep up. And the last thing you want to do is avoid having conversations. Your entire job as a marketer is to have conversations, right? But I do want you to remember automation doesn't mean removing the human touch from everything. Something I like to teach my students in my programs is authentic automation. That's what I call it. You still jump in, you take over the conversation when necessary, but automating the initial steps can save you a ton of time. So I'll give you an example of that. If someone comments, club, right? They want information on my club. Then the first DM can be automated because I give a little bit of information about it and then I give them the link to check it out, right? They're going to make the decision ultimately if it's for them or not. But then when they respond and they have questions, I jump in and answer their questions. The last thing I want is many chat to try to answer their questions and go off the rails and everything be robotic, right? So those initial DMs can really save you time by automation. The second thing is when you're growing and you see that fast growth, there have been points where I've created content that had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of comments. You are protecting yourself as well because there are settings on these automation tools that allow you to say, only respond to X amount of comments in so many minutes. And it can help you avoid getting in Facebook jail or IG jail or any of those things because when you go in there and you're like, okay, I'm going to answer all 100 comments in the next 5 minutes, you end up putting yourself in message jail. Okay, so it's a protection for me and my business as well. The next thing that you should be automating in your business is email sequences, especially ones that convert. Okay, so a well-crafted email sequence is like having a sales team. It's working for you around the clock. So the key here is to set up a series of emails that guides your leads through the buyer's journey, right? From the moment they sign up or don't to the moment they make that purchase finally. Okay. So things like a welcome sequence that introduces them to your brand, sets the tone, it builds trust, right? Follow that up with some educational content that addresses their pain points and move them into offering the solution, your product or service, right? So don't forget to include things like social proof, testimonials, case studies. Those build trust and will convert emails much faster. Other sequences, abandoned cart. Maybe someone, clicked your link, they put their info in, and then they had some kind of doubt or question, and so they backed out. You can automate an email to go to them. You could do the basic, like, hey, you left this in your cart kind of thing. Or you could say, hey, I saw you were interested in this. Do you have questions? Respond to me. But again, creating conversations. Your entire job as a marketer is to create more conversations. And when hey, they were interested in this product, well, they have some sort of pain around it, right? So it gives you the advantage to be able to reach out to them and say, hey, I see you're trying to grow on TikTok. What questions do you have about my TikTok Tactics Challenge? How can I support you? What is something that I can answer for you today to see if this is the right product for you? So if you don't have email sequences and you're only dependent upon like daily email broadcasts or weekly email newsletters, you're losing leads. Okay. You're losing leads because your newsletters or your broadcasts might be directed towards your audience as a whole. When you're setting up sequences, you're directing it to a specific pain or solution. Okay. The next I want to talk about is the email automation. Just the way to tag and set this up. So another best practice is to make sure in email automation that you're tagging people properly. So if they were interested in my TikTok Tactics Challenge, I'm going to tag them as that. So down the road, I can either, if I introduce a new product around TikTok, I know they're going to probably be interested in it, or so that you can make sure you're not overwhelming them with emails that don't apply to them, but also so that you can look and see, okay, they were interested in my TikTok Tactics Challenge. They're now in my group. What is something else I could offer them that might build trust even more? Maybe I send them the link to my free TikTok guide. Maybe I, invite them into to DM with me on TikTok. Maybe I go DM them on TikTok. Obviously, that's not super automated, but when you have people in segments and you segment your list, you'll be able to be very specific in your marketing. Okay. Next thing I would talk about is automating your content scheduling. So this is something I go back and forth on because I do believe, and this is my personal opinion, that scheduling your content sometimes can affect the reach. I think these platforms want us to be present on them every day. And it's really just one of those things that I've noticed a decline in my reach. However, there are platforms that I'm not currently focused on growing. So for those platforms, I typically schedule my content. So things like Threads, things like LinkedIn, I'm not focused on growing, but I do put content there just to stay active and, be present for my audience. So for those platforms that you're not focused on growing, you can use scheduling tools. Now, I still batch my content because I think it's really important that you get, your content planned and prepared and you're not throwing it together on a whim daily. But I usually, for my reels or for my TikToks, I save them in my drafts. And then I have a timer on my phone that goes off every morning that says, hey, go post those in your drafts. It takes me about 3 seconds. Okay. So creating content is key to staying top of mind with your audience and keeping it consistent, like a daily schedule. So again, I am not huge on scheduling everything, but if you're someone who works a 9 to 5 or you're not full-time in your business yet and your time's super limited, you need to take advantage of scheduling tools. Okay. You can schedule a month at a time, a week at a time. But the key here is to create content that aligns with your sales strategy. And when you're scheduling your content out, you can visually see, okay, I am, implementing all the touch points of my content strategy. Nothing's getting left out. Whereas when you're posting on the fly every single day, something's different, something's changing, then you're not seeing the bigger picture. And your content strategy is so much about the bigger picture. So it's really important that there's so many scheduling tools. If you click in the show notes below in my Stand store, Metrical is one that you can actually use for free So a lot of these, platforms allow you to have a free plan. You can also schedule in almost every single social media platform now, except for Threads that I'm aware of, and it won't cost you anything, right? So if you just set some time every single month to, batch your content and get it scheduled out, the amount of time you're going to save is incredible. Okay. The last thing I want to talk about is building workflows to nurture leads. So the final piece of automation puzzle is building workflows that nurture your leads. So this involves integrating all the systems we talked about, right? DMs, emails, content, etc., into a seamless workflow. So for example, someone might interact with your automated DM, get added to your email sequence, and then see your scheduled content that reinforces the value of your offer. The integrated approach here keeps your leads engaged at every touch point. So using tools to make sure that all of your systems are connected, your platforms and automated workflows are connected is so important, because you don't want to have, all the DMs be automated. You're getting all of these people in your funnel and then they're not on your email list, right? So what is the point? So really getting an automation plan and workflow created for your business. And if you don't already have it, inside my Stand store under Fave Tools and Resources, you can get my domination automation guide, which tells you not only what my favorite tools are to use, but how to use them in your business. Game changer for you. Okay. So I think it's really important for you to understand that it really is about working smarter and using systems in your business. Because if you don't have systems in your business, you are the system. Okay. And your ultimate goal to automating your sales process is to serve more people, make more sales, save you time. Okay. So it's all about working smarter, not harder. And by implementing simple automation strategies, you can free up your time, reduce your stress, and grow your sales. Right. So if you found this episode helpful, be sure to subscribe, share it with a friend, your mom, I don't care. And make sure you leave us a review. It's the absolute best compliment you can give. If you have not already joined the Socially Awesome community, make sure to check out the show notes below and jump in there. I do weekly tips, tricks, and trainings to help you grow your business online. And it's really important that if you are someone who's looking to scale the masterclass is called Sales Machine Masterclass, right there in the show notes. This outlines how I turn hundreds of pieces of content into thousands, how I make more sales using automation, my rinse and repeat framework, and how I was able to scale my business quickly without posting new content every single day. So until next time, make it simple, make it social, and make it awesome.